What's going on, everybody? My name's Tim Williams. We're here to break down tonight's 15-game MLB slate over on DraftKings. If you're new to the channel, what's up? My name's Tim. What we do here is we break down every single one of these games, and I don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's just jump right into it. The strategy here is we're just going to try to whittle it down from 15 games to as little as possible. First game's first, Red Sox at the Phillies. 8.5 over under here. There was no favorite when I checked the Vegas line earlier. So Perez taking on Nola. Perez at 9.4K. That is comically high. I would never go there. And then Nola 11.6, a little bit too high, going against the Red Sox, who are just obliterating the baseball. No interest in either pitcher here. In fact, not really interested in any of the batters either. Red Sox side, maybe left-handed batter. Verdugo, 3.7K is fair. Devers, 5.2K. It's a little pricey going against Nola. And then on the other side, Phillies, just no interest. They're just striking out a ton. I don't really like them in this spot. I think there's other places to go. Next, you have the Orioles, Nationals. Nationals favorited here, 8.5 over under. Lopez taking on Strasburg. He is called up. He is ready to be back from his injury. Lopez, 5.6K. He does get a ton of ground balls. That's great. Not great for making money. And then Strasburg, 8.3K. Fair price. I think he'll go A, over owned, and B, I don't want to take a shot on anybody coming back from injury in DFS, at the very least, a pitcher at that, for that matter. Orioles, I only have interest in the Orioles if Strasburg is going to be super high owned, and I don't think he's going to be crazy high owned, but Mullins, Santander, he'll be back from an injury. Mancini, Galvis, I really like those guys. And then on the National side, the projected lineup hits into just about 50% ground ball, so that kind of lines up a little too well with Lopez. I don't think the Nationals are in the smash spot everyone thinks they are. Next, we have the White Sox Yankees. 8.5 over under. Rodon taking on Montgomery. Rodon, slight interest here. He's one of the cheaper, like ace type pitchers from what we've seen this season, 9.9K. The strikeout rate looks great through 33.8%. Walk rate, he does tend to walk some guys here. Yankees 11th overall and on base percentage. Tough matchup, tough environment. I don't think he's a bad play. So I do have interest there. And then on the Yankee side, Montgomery, this is a little too expensive. White Sox hit lefties really, really well. They're hitting the ball really well in general. The power really hasn't been there, but we've seen what they can do. So if I'm picking any bats from this side, it's definitely from the White Sox side. I love the righties here. Anderson, Moncada, Mercedes, Vaughn, Madrigal if you're stacking. And then Judge on the other side is the only real Yankee I have interest in, but I'm probably not going to get there today. Next game here, Brewers Reds, 9 over under. Brewers actually favored it here. Hauser taking on Hoffman. Hauser, 7.9K, would never roster him in DFS. 60.5 ground ball rate. That is very, very good. He's going to need that to work for him tonight against the Reds in Cincinnati. Hoffman, 5.1K. He's priced that way because he is junk. Brewers bats definitely in play here. Wong, Yelich is back. Nice price there. Navarez, one of my favorite catcher plays in the day. Vogelbach, Shaw. I think they're going to go somewhat kind of owned because there's a Coors game on this slate. People are trying to pay up for pitching. So I think the Brewers are sort of in play. And if they're a little bit higher owned than I think they're going to be, then I'm just not that interested. But yeah, definitely in play. And then on the Red side, you're just going to have to cut some of the fat off. So I know they've been really, really good, but Hauser's like a fair pitcher. So I'm going to skip over the Reds. Next, we have the Mets, Marlins. There was no over-under last I checked. Stroman taking on Holloway. Stroman, 9.1K, little too pricey, 18% strikeout rate. That is not great. He is a good pitcher, but in a good matchup too. I mean, the Marlins do strike out a ton, but I'm just not interested in Stroman. I don't think he has that ceiling. He's got a nice floor, but and then on the other side, Holloway, 6K. He's been pretty bad. He walks a lot of dudes, but I don't know if you've seen this Mets lineup. It's pretty terrible. Marlins not that interesting today either, so this is probably just a big pass for me. Next, we have the Twins Indians, 9.5 over under. Indians are actually favored. You have Dubnyk taking on McKenzie. Dubnyk has one of the rudest mustaches in all of baseball. Would never play him in DFS though, even at that price at 4K. And then McKenzie 7.8K. I can't get there. The strikeout rate is nice. It is great, but he walks a ton of dudes. The Twins are actually decent. They just came out their lineup right before I started this video, so I don't think Polanco is in it. Donaldson definitely in play. Cruz a little too pricey, but he's in play. I'm not sure if Kepler was in there or not, but I like him a lot. I like this game a lot in general. At least I did earlier. And the lefties in play for sure on the Indian side. Yes, the Indians are terrible, but this is a great matchup for them. The Twins are beat up, man. They had a doubleheader yesterday. They're getting hit by pitches. The bullpen is tired. Do love the Indians here. Eddie Rosario, 3.3K. I expect him to be somewhat chalky here. Ramirez, slam dunk. I love him there. Reyes, huge power. I think his like exit velocity rate, it's insane. Naylor, I really like him. I don't think people are going to pay for him. I believe it's supposed to be 2.7K. Bowers, Hernandez, if you're stacking. I don't know if I can get to a full stack, but if you're trying to get some of that Coors game, I don't really mind the Indians here. Next, you have the Pirates, Braves, 8 over under. Again, this is one of these games where like I just have to kick something off of this slate. It's too massive. Anderson taking on Anderson. Anderson from the Pirates, Tyler Anderson, 7.3K. He has pitched a lot better this year. I don't think he's bad. Lefties against the Braves actually tend to do very well. So that could be kind of a sneaky play, especially if you're trying to take some of these chalk bats. I don't mind Anderson here on the Pirates side. And then Ian Anderson for the Braves, 10.5K. It's just a little too pricey. The matchup, don't get me wrong, is awesome, but you're really going to need him to have the biggest ceiling game to pay that price off. So I think this game, for the most part, is just a fade for me. Yeah, Braves really struggle against lefties. So next, we have the Rays, Blue Jays. No over under. Blue Jays favorited here, or at least I think they are. Glass now taking on K. Glass now 11.2K. So expensive. I'm pretty stoked. I'm glad finally DraftKings is pricing up these aces to where they should be. Some of them are even overpriced. Love it. Glass now just under 40% strikeout rate. And then K had a nice game last time out against the Phillies, 5.9K. No, thank you. They're playing in Dunedin, Florida, where it is a tiny little ballpark where balls just fly out of the park. Rays have been crushing it lately. Yes, they still strike out a ton, but Arozarena priced up at 5K, just been mashing it. He's giving you like pitcher-like numbers for totals. Meadows, too cheap. Diaz, Adames, I like him there. Zunino, he has that ability to hit 2 dongs, right, in that little ballpark. So all those guys in play. I expect the Rays to be somewhat owned, but it's a 15-game slate. I don't really think there's going to be tons of chalk to worry about here. And then on the Blue Jay side, I don't have a ton of interest. Glasnow might give up a couple home runs. Vlad is my favorite to do so, 5.7K. He only strikes out 16% of the time against right-handed pitching. Next, we have the Astros taking on the Rangers, 8.5 over under. Ivy called up from the minors, 4.8K. Not bad. Gibson, 7.1K. I'm sick of these, call-up pitchers or young kids or these 4K pitchers. Every time I roster somebody, it goes completely wrong. So I'm just sticking with what I know and who can get me at least 6 or 7 innings. So no interest in Ivy there. I actually have some interest in the Rangers bats. Gibson, 7.1K. Probably the toughest matchup on the slate for him. Altuve, Brantley, Bregman, Tucker, really love all of these guys. I know they hit lefties better, but Astros are first in average, third in on-base percentage. They can hit home runs. They do not strike out. So hate this matchup for Gibson. Love this matchup for really any of the bats here, to be honest. I don't have any Rangers listed, but I think they're definitely in play. Next, you have the Royals, Tigers, 8.5 over under. Royals are favored here. Minor versus Urania. Minor, 7.5K, so cheap. He's going to be chalk. And then Urania, 6.4K, coming off an injury. He's actually been okay. Like, not a guy you'd want to roster ever, but he's a guy who really limits, fly balls and gets grounders and is just like fine. And the Royals haven't been hitting quite as good as of late. Lefties in play. Santana, I think that is a fair price. Benintendi, 3.6, but I'm not stacking this team. Probably no interest there. I have more interest on the Tiger side, mainly because Minor is going to be chalk, and that's a little bit of game 3 for you. Tigers, yes, they do strike out a ton. I actually don't mind them against lefties. Grossman, Candelario, Ramos, love it. So give me some Tigers just to get some trying to beat my opponents here. So they're somewhat in play. Next, we have the Cubs, Cardinals, 8.5 over under. Cubs taking on Cardinals. I like the matchup. Hendricks against Martinez. Hendricks, 7.4K. Never going to roster that dude. Martinez, 6.9K. No, thank you. There's just no upside from Martinez. He's coming back from an injury. Cubs for sure in play. They're actually kind of interesting. Hendricks, 7.4K. Like, he's going to have games where he gets you 20, 30 points. It's going to be like every other or every 3 weeks. I don't trust him here. Cardinals have been hitting better lately, and they're also 23rd in the league in strikeouts, so they're not really striking out that much. Give me some Carlson, Arenado. Goldschmidt's priced at 3.9K. That is insane. They're begging you to play him. Edmund, 4.5K. I do like the Cardinals here. Next, you have the Diamondbacks, Rockies, 11 over under. That's all the notes you're going to get. Francoff taking on Marquez. This could be a giant shit show. Diamondbacks, they're too cheap. Rockies way too cheap. I think there could be a lot of runs scored in this game. Rockies have the highest implied run total. They have the highest run total in general at home. I definitely am trying to sprinkle some Rockies in, especially if I'm playing 1 to 3 lineups. But yeah, I don't know about full stacking or whatever, because I'm trying to get different somewhere else, right? And I think you can do so in the pitcher spot or whatever. But I lean Rockies more on this side. But yeah, this game, it's Coors, man. Like, if you're playing cash games, you have to get pieces from this game. If you're doing GPPs, I can see why you would want to fade it. I've been fading chalk all week, and it's been eating me in the butt. So I think I'm going to have to get some sort of exposure to the Rockies. Next, you have the A's, Angels, 9 over under. A's favorited. Caprillion taking on Quintana. Zero interest in the pitching here. Caprillion, you might as well flip a coin. The guy's got strikeout stuff, but can he get you 5-6 innings and win you a tournament? I don't think so. Quintana has been pitching better as of late. He is not very good against right-handed batters. The price is nice, though, but the A's, 3rd overall in home runs. I'm just going to go with the A's bats here. Canna, love. Laureano, love. Chapman, Murphy, love. I love this whole team. There's definitely some value, Piscotty, et cetera, et cetera. Really like the A's here. And then Angels, Ohtani, way too expensive. Rendon, Walsh, it's fine. It's boring. They're not fun. I don't know. I just don't think they're as sexy with Mike Trout is not in the lineup. So I think I'm going to pass on the Angels. Next, we have the Dodgers Giants. This is a pitching matchup. This is one of the lowest over-unders totals on the slate, 7 over-under here. Dodgers favorited, Bauer taking on Wood. Nothing really much to say about the bats here. Giants just exploded yesterday for 18 runs. I don't think they're going to do it again against Bauer. Bauer, 11.9K. He's definitely in play. Might get 30 to 40% ownership. I think I'm going to fade him there in GPPs, but in cash games, he's definitely more than acceptable. And then Wood at 10K, it's a little pricey, but honestly, all the pitching options, Aces are facing tough matchups. Bauer's facing the Giants, who are, 2nd overall in home runs, 9th in on base percentage. Yeah, they strike out, but Glasnow is facing Toronto in that little tiny ballpark. Everyone's got a tough matchup. Rodon's taking on the Yankees in New York. Give me some Wood here. And yes, I know it's the Dodgers, but they're hurt. They're beat up. They strike out 10th in the league. They just got schooled by Merrill Kelly yesterday. Merrill Kelly went for 30 fantasy points. So I do like Wood here. I think that's a nice little sneaky pivot, a guy who might only get 4%, 5% ownership. So love Wood here. Love Bauer. Last but not least, you have the Mariners, Padres, 7.5 over under. Flexen taking them out against Paddock. I don't like either pitcher here. I could see why you would get to Paddock, but paying 9K for him is just too much for me. The Mariners, yes, they do strike out. I just don't care much for them today at all. Seager and Kelenic, lefties here, I really don't mind against Paddock. Paddock, I just don't trust him to go 6 innings and get 6 strikeouts. So I just don't think it's there. It definitely can be, but I'm just not going to risk it. There's, 30 teams on the slate, so I'm not going to go there. I do love the Padres bats, though. Tatis, 5.8K. He might get low ownership, and I don't know how you fade him. Just a guy a little bit different. So I do like Tatis here. Machado, Cronenworth, he's been playing real good baseball lately. Grisham, Hosmer's not going to get any ownership. I don't know what's going on with the Mariners. There might be some COVID concerns, so I don't know if this game even plays. I could have just made that up, but I'm pretty sure I saw something. But as far as I know, this game is still being played. So all the weather in this 15-game slate is looking good. It's getting to be about summer, so the ball is going to be flying out of the park, or we might see 6 no-hitters tonight. I don't know, but that is it. Thank you for watching. If you made it through, my name's Tim. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to break down more of these slates every single goddamn day. Like this video. Best of luck tonight, unless you are in my contest. See ya.